The Nerdgasm Talk podcast is brought to you by Spaces Philly. If you love podcasts, go to spacesphilly.com where you can check out Lulu and Pop, Both Sides, Turntables, Jump Thought Super Tongue, and the Nerd Coalition's very own No Gimmicks Needed. Visit spacesphilly.com today. And now, feel the Nerdgasm. But first, let's just get this over with. Mortal Kombat has finally arrived.
Before we go into the review, I just do want to say rest in peace to Shock G for anybody who knows Digital Underground and listens to old school hip hop. Yeah, he just passed away at age 57. We lost another rapper, and DMX's memorial service was today also.
His casket was on a monster truck.
Yeah, I heard that. I actually got you to see it. So yeah, and
I'll see the video again. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, so me and my wife, huge fans of Shock G. You know, so I just want to make sure I show some love before we get into the review.
Yeah, no problem. Rest in peace. I didn't know him too well. I know the name, but not any history of him.
Hey,
unfortunately,
it's Shock G, the one who put the satin on your panties.
And he Swag. He's the one that do the Humpty Hump.
Yeah, I know of him. I just don't know him as a
He introduced the world to Tupac.
Yeah,
there you go. That same song joint is dope.
But yes, Mortal Kombat. Mr. Aney, you're a big fan of Mortal Kombat.
Huge.
Now, let's talk about the movie history a little bit. Now, how did you feel about the first one?
Well, to be honest with you, I love the first one. It got problems. It ain't a great movie, but I still love the first one and what it brought to the video game movies and how it respected the whole genre of Mortal Kombat. However, it was PG-13, so we didn't get that whole violent aspect of it. But that was because it was back in the day. Which is understandable.
However, a lot of people liked it, and it did progress into a sequel for it. Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Oh.
That's all you had to say. You didn't need to say anything about it. And after that
mud fight was the best scene ever. They just mud wrestling.
Really?
You never seen Annihilation?
I have.
Yes, like a mud wrestle between. Yeah, that was. I remember seeing that in the theater and just being like, "Well, okay."
Yeah, I mean, because someone was tall, lanky, and white. I was like, "That's not Melina at all." For sure. Someone
just approved that. Like someone in the office who wears a suit and tie to work every day was like, "Yeah, that's the move."
Bro, first of all, that whole movie was full of stereotypes. It's okay, just keep it in 100.
Yeah, and then I guess Mortal Kombat took the movie scene quietly. They just enhanced their story with the games, and which honestly, the story is great in the video games. The story is great. Then we got that animated movie, Mortal Kombat. Was it Scorpion's Revenge?
Well, actually, before that, we got a YouTube short called Mortal Kombat Rebirth.
Series. Oh yeah, that was dope. I saw
Michael Jai White
for it.
Yeah, with Michael Jai White, and then after the success of Mortal Kombat Rebirth, we had Mortal Kombat Legacy, which lasted for 2 seasons. The first season was very good. The second season was like, see, y'all gave it to the wrong people. And then I was like, well, now we gotta wait again to have a successful movie. And then we got the first animated movie from Warner Brothers, the Scorpion's Revenge, which was really good.
I have yet to see that, but I did hear great things about it. So coming up to this movie, it was a lot riding on it. We heard a lot of talks about it. We saw some behind-the-scene pictures, and then we get the trailer. I'm gonna just go around. How did y'all feel about the trailer? I'll start with the flow.
I thought it was cool. It didn't show too much. Well, maybe it did. I don't know. No, it didn't. It didn't show too much. It had us questioning though, because like we definitely at the time were wondering who the hell is Cole Young. We'll get to that later, but yeah, it was cool, solid.
The director.
Yeah, you know the trailer did not spark joy in me. I didn't hate it. It just kind of. I think I just needed to see it because it just looked so. I don't know. It looked half like a big budget movie, half like a CW show. So I was just like, let me just see like the full package. I don't want to just go out and just give it all for this one trailer because I only watched one trailer. I didn't watch, several other trailers.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. A&E, we all know you reacted to all the trailers, but quick rundown how you felt about them.
I was excited, but on a reserve level, because it was cool seeing certain characters, and it was cool knowing that fatalities and a lot of fan service is going to be in the film just from the trailers. Then they introduced this new character which nobody knew who it was at first, and I was saying to myself, okay, I hope he doesn't distract me from my Mortal Kombat movie. Yes, I called it my Mortal Kombat movie, but it I'm not gonna lie, it got me excited because of how much of a fan I am.
Right. I was okay about the trailer. I was like, it looks cool. I hope it's cool, but nothing really like. I wasn't someone that was going to rush out to the theaters and see it. And let's be honest, I'm glad I didn't. I'm gonna just say this right off the bat. This is spoilers. I might go on a tangent. I might go on a rant. In all honesty, I could care less about this movie. I turned it off. I was like, this was crap. But I'm gonna give our personal feelings, and then we'll dive deep on this movie. Mr. A&E, yours was it might be the most important in the podcast. No offense to you guys, but how did you feel about this?
Okay, so I watched the movie, and I watched it 1.5 times. I didn't get a chance to get through it the whole time, second time. Not because I didn't want to, it's just because I was busy doing other stuff, probably more important stuff. I put it right in the middle. I gave it a hashtag, give it a chance. What was my rating for the film? I have my non-spoiler review up already, but there is just a lot of things that somebody who is so invested in the Lord cannot turn away from. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I have been a fan of stuff that is enriched in lore and them wanting to change it up a little bit. For instance, Power Rangers from 2017. Mm-hmm. They made changes but respected the lore of Power Rangers.
That's funny you say Power Rangers, because that's the movie that kept coming to my mind when I saw this movie. When I kept watching this movie, in the back of my mind, Power Rangers was just constantly coming up for some reason.
Yeah.
I'll probably get to that later.
Yeah, but the way I probably like, okay, they made Trini gay, they made Billy black, they made Zach Asian. I mean, okay, they made changes. You know, Zordon and Rita were Power Rangers at the beginning, so they made different changes in the lore. And y'all know how much of a Power Rangers fan I am. Mm-hmm. So them making changes, but they stuck to the Megazord. The Megazord looked like crap, but they kept to the Megazord. They kept the Goldar. They kept the Rita. They kept to what made Power Rangers Power Rangers. What made Mortal Kombat, I think a lot of people look over and they make it seem as though that Mortal Kombat is all about fatalities, and most of the time it is about the violence, because that's what separates it from Street Fighter. But people overlook a lot of times that Mortal Kombat has been enriched in a very great story, one of the best stories in any fighting game that has been made. That's including Street Fighter. To the point where everybody knows about the tournament. Don't nobody care about the DOA series. Anybody like
that was the wrong one to choose out of all. Yeah, I would have at least said Tekken. Like that, Tekken has somewhat of an interesting story going on.
Yeah, that Tekken lore is pretty popping. That Tekken lore is pretty popping.
I never said Tekken. I said Tekken lore, but I'm saying, but the DOA is the one who that tries to take after the Mortal Kombat story, and it don't work. You know, a lot of times. So this one, I was like, okay, fine. Y'all want to change it. Y'all want to add a new character to it. But I felt as though that they sacrificed story and a lot of the lore for fan service and fatalities. And sometimes that can work, but sometimes, a lot of times, that doesn't work. So, yeah, I know we can get more into the conversation of that. And I'm gonna come off the back and say I did not like Cole Young, and yes, I did go in here with a more biased mindset, but I was kind of hoping he convinced me.
You mean Cole Quinn?
Yeah, I keep calling him Cole Quinn. I keep disrespecting that man's name, but I finally remember it as Cole Young.
He disrespected your series.
Hey, Mr. A&E, you ain't like Brass Body from Man with the Iron Fist?
Bro, what the fuck was that? Excuse me.
He was Golden Arms.
I was like,
what was that suit? That was the worst thing.
That's
I've
brass
ever
body. Y'all
seen.
saw a man with the iron fist. That's brass body.
That
Yeah,
suit
brass
was
body can stay over there
disgusting.
with the RZA.
It's like that suit was disgusting looking. I was like, who chose that? I hope I don't see anyone cosplay.
Not only was that disgusting looking, he took out the Mortal Kombat champion easily.
Yeah,
I have a problem with that. But I know we'll probably get to it with the positives. If we could lay this out, I think for all of us to have a more interesting conversation, I think we should do kind of like, characters, fatality, story, what we like.
Yeah, I just wanted to get like a general opinion real quick before we hop.
I'm sorry about that. But go ahead.
The director, how did you feel about the movie overall?
Yeah, I think this movie was this movie's pretty bad, but I had a good time watching it, and I will watch it. I will watch a sequel.
You love bad movies.
This movie felt just hear me out though. This movie felt like a pilot to me. Like it was just
like a prequel?
It felt like something that it felt like the test, like it felt like the beginning. You know what it felt like? It felt like Ninja Turtles, the first one, and then like Ninja Turtles 2 came out, which wasn't better, but like they tried to make it better. You know what I mean? I was just like,
the second one was definitely better than the first one.
Yeah, the second one is still not. I wouldn't say it's not. It doesn't live up to the old Turtle status, but it's better than the first one.
Yeah.
And I feel like when Mortal Kombat 2 comes out, they'll definitely fix things to make it better. I didn't hate this movie. I'm glad I didn't pay for this movie. That probably has a lot to do with how I feel about it, honestly. Mm-hmm. But I just thought, all in all, I thought it was a semi-fun ride, and it was so bad. Some of the stuff in it is so bad. It was kind of enjoyable.
Flo the Rookie, how did you feel overall?
I thought it wasn't bad to me. It definitely wasn't the best movie, but I mean, like, damn, like, I said hashtag give it a chance too when I finished. I'm like, dude, this movie was fine, honestly. But I also went in with like, one, this is a video game movie. Usually they're about, they're usually hit or miss, mostly miss. And two, take this MK11 Aftermath, MK11 Armageddon, like take I'm MK11 Armageddon, Lord. MK y'all know what I'm saying. Take these video game storylines out of the picture and just watch it for what it is. That's how I went into it, and it didn't really bother me, honestly. Like, yeah, it could have been 1,000 times better, but I think people went in with some weird expectations, and it's just like, okay, well, that's what you get.
One, I didn't like this movie at all. I kind of went in with no expectations, and I was still let down, which I'm baffled that happened. The action was just very. We'll get deep into that, but overall, I say catch it at a barbershop. If I'm watching this on TV, sure, but the director does have a great point. The fact that I didn't pay for it does make a huge difference. A huge difference in the entertainment. But before that, let's just dive deep into the movie. I'm gonna hop into the characters first. Cole Young. He was a waste. He was a wasteful character.
No, now
that's easily how you fix this movie: is get rid of Cole Young.
Get rid of him.
Look, now it's like Mortal Kombat has
get rid of him. Get Ronda Rousey for Sonya Blade.
Do not get Ronda Rousey for Sonya Blade.
Get somebody believable as Sonya Blade.
100%. Get someone, but not Ronda Rousey. She can G-walk somewhere else.
Well, she's pregnant.
Anyone else, but still, anyone else besides that. I don't know who that lady was, but she was awful.
Yeah, she was pretty bad.
I almost wanted Bridget Wilson back. I was just like, can somebody call 1995 and see if Bridget that? Because I said, I'll get to it, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Cole Young, waste.
He was bad, and it sucks even more that Mortal Kombat has a plethora of characters that you just had to make a new one. That's almost like making a video game that's a 10 out of 10, and then when you make the sequel to that video game, You throw in a character that you have to develop to hate, and then through the second half of that game, you play as that character, and you call that game The Last of Us 2. That's how I felt about Cole Young in this movie.
Now,
Oh man, I thought you were talking about Metal Gear Solid too. I was like, oh man, he really don't like Raiden.
Oh no, that game was actually pretty good.
I know some of our fellow Nerd Coalition members, on social media enjoyed the movie, and that's cool though. I don't hate them for that, but people have to understand that it's like I'm not going here expecting or like you said, the Mortal Kombat 11 story, because that's not what sold Mortal Kombat 11.
Right.
And that's not what sold Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat has one of the most best but simplistic stories. It's about the tournament. It's about gathering up Earth's best warriors for this tournament. Mm-hmm. They end up going so far out their way from telling a simple story that now when the sequel does come up, it's not going to make sense. And then now you got yourself into a bigger problem. That whole marking thing, it was just it was like, okay,
I hated that.
They brought that in, and I thought it was I like Swag had to correct me that because I thought Cole was Scorpion's son, but then I was like, wait a minute, that definitely did happen in 1614. So for him to be the son is kind of impossible, but it's for his heritage to keep coming. So Bihan is so focused on getting Hanzo's lineage out of here, and he's the only one left, which makes no sense. And I'm like, don't Jax got the marking? So you're not going, you're not after Jax, you're after Cole. Why?
And
the whole way that this whole story started off, it started off the way it's supposed to do in Mortal Kombat. It started off with the whole thing about Bihan and Hanzo Asashi.
Yo, Bihan was on complete bullshit this entire film. I was here for it all.
Yeah, the first 7 minutes I saw the opening of the movie, I was like, we're finally going into the lore. We're finally going into the rivalry of what started this whole thing. And I was glad to see it. And then it seems like once the movie started, once the Mortal Kombat title came up, and I did not get no theme song. Once the Mortal Kombat title came up, we completely abandoned that.
Yeah.
And I was like, what happened?
I feel like they focused too much on Scorpion. Like the movie is literally about Scorpion's bloodline.
I thought they focused more on Cole than Scorpion.
Well, he's Scorpion's bloodline. Like,
yeah, but
even when they first show up, they're like that friendship bracelet was black and yellow, like Cole's colors, black and yellow. Like he was like I would like to believe that the suits in the office were like Scorpion touches through the roof. He's like the Batman of Mortal Kombat. Everyone loves Scorpion. Let's make him like the focus of this, but we can't make him the star because he goes to hell. So let's have this other person, the everyday man that someone can relate to. And then that's where this character Cole comes from, because there's no point for him to be in this film. Also, all he did was take ass whoopings the whole movie.
Yeah, the whole movie.
Also, his special power was taking ass whoopings.
When the dude said, when he mentioned something about him having poor defense, as the movie went on, they were talking about you got to unlock your power and all that. I'm like, oh, he's getting some type of defensive armor or something, because he don't do defense.
The suit was so ugly,
and he turns into brass. He turns into brass body. Batista is somewhere shaking his head.
The suit was ugly. Cole, that actor, what's his name, Tran or whatever his name is, he's not a very good actor. Like. He's definitely not a star. Like he could have been a fine co-star.
He tried out for the role of Shang-Chi,
and we saw who that went to. So Marvel knows what's up.
Yeah, his acting was bad. He was just a bad actor overall. Also, if they are after Scorpion's lineage from 1618 till now, I'm pretty sure there are more people with that bloodline.
Yo, the whole prophecy is like the blood, the lineage of Scorpion is going to unite a team that's going to bring balance to, like, that's going to stop Outworld from invading Earthrealm. Like that's what Shang Tsung was saying was the prophecy, which was like news to me, but it was still like just not good.
It was not need to happen because then you just take out like, bro, just stick with the regular story. Y'all tried something different, it didn't work, and y'all could just stuck because this made Shang Tsung, who's a bad motherfucker, in the background. He was useless. In this film, he was forgettable at best.
You know who was forgettable? Raiden.
Raiden's eyes bothered me the whole movie.
I did want to
do a better job.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to get on Shang Tsung and Raiden, and then I'll work my way up after that. Mm-hmm. I forgot they were in the movie. They were.
I didn't forget Shang Tsung was in the movie. He wouldn't shut up.
God,
shout out to his throne on the edge of that cliff though. Like that's where you want a throne. You don't want it in the castle. You want that joint outside on your cliff patio.
He needs a good breeze.
First of all, it wasn't explained truly of who Raiden is. Raiden is the defender of Earthrealm.
Right.
He is the one. He has to get all his mortals together to be able to fight for Earthrealm, to fight to save their world.
And he barely did that. Sonya did.
None of that happened in this movie. And I'm like, so what is the point of you even being here? That's what I'm saying. I had to agree that they took so much, and they literally put all their resources into Cole Young because they wanted to find a way to bring, once again, it's about this damn younger generation, to bring him into Mortal Kombat.
But
it could have been such
characters. You have so many characters they could have did that with, which is like, why didn't y'all?
Y'all could have just did it with Liu Kang, Sonya, and Johnny Cage like you did in the original.
I wouldn't want that combo. But however, I think Liu Kang, that story that he told when he was patching up Homeboy, it was the same story as Cole's story, but it just sounded and it looked better. Like just tell that story. And that dude was a better actor. He was also the Black Power Ranger.
Much better actor.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't know, man. I honestly feel like I just wish that if they would have just cut Cole out of this movie, I think it probably would have been 100% better. Even if they did nothing else but cut Cole out of the movie and they kept Sonya Blade in there, we kept Jax with his little ass arms. We kept those like that. Riku, like that villain dude with the sledgehammer. He was probably one of the worst villains I've ever seen because he just made wrestling faces the whole entire time. Like anytime anything happened, he was like, "Whoa!"
I don't know who the hell Kano was, but whoever that actor is, I hope his back is okay.
Josh Howard or Josh?
Regardless, I hope his back is okay because he carried the shit out of these.
Out of all the characters in the movie, he was definitely the most interesting one.
Him and Sub-Zero carried it for the villain team, man.
I'm hoping Sub-Zero comes back as Noob Saibot in part 2.
Oh, he has to.
I'm assuming. But why
I feel like they teased it. I mean, once he took the gear off, I'm like, yo, that's Noob's clothes. Like,
while we're on that, let's talk about Earthrealm's defenders. Sonya Blade, Kano, and Jax and Liu Kang.
Yo, what made my skin crawl this whole movie is Sonya walking with Kano.
Yo, that's so disrespectful. How you forget Kung Lao? How you forget Kung Lao?
Yo, Kung Lao was that boy. The way he popped out that hat when he got introduced, I was like, yo, that's some dazzling VFX.
Kung Lao,
he was stiff in this movie. I'll get to the action later, but he was very stiff in this movie.
If you mean like a stiff upper lip and just shoving, chicks
fighting,
hat blades.
Fighting, he was stiff.
What do you mean?
If we really want to get on some stiffness, there's a lot of stiffness in this film.
Like Miss A&E said,
his fighting style is like that type of fighting style.
I know it's like the
not
strong, like fist tiger, but Miss A&E said it.
Yeah, if you was expecting some Eddie Gordo moves, I don't.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't know what
Miss A&E said it best. Everything, the action in this movie felt too safe.
The choreography was bad. You can definitely like after we've seen. You know what this movie felt like? It felt like a really good movie, and that should have came out in like 99, 2000. Like that's what it felt like to me.
I agree with that.
Like it didn't feel like in the era of John Wick. It didn't feel. I didn't feel wowed. I was wowed by the gore, but I was never wowed by anyone's. You know what I mean? Like performance, like karate wise.
Right. I agree with that. I
see, here's the thing.
If what Scorpion did in the beginning didn't wow y'all, that
I was like, that's cool. That's a great way to start the tone. But I wasn't wowed. I mean, not like no shape. A homeboy's crazy old looking, and he fought like a crazy old dude with skills. But it wasn't like it was just very punch, kick, punch, slap, slap, slap. It didn't look super dynamic. Like the choreography wasn't good. And there's too many good choreographers out there for them to have like this like 1990s Power Ranger ass like choreography.
And especially with a series like this where a lot of the fight scenes in the video game are based on creativity. It was like I feel like they should have taken a lot more creative liberties when it came to these fights. Where honestly is one of the selling points of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
When it comes to Kung Lao to me, like, here's it, because Kung Lao is one of my favorite characters. I use him a lot in the game also. And but I was watching him the whole time. I was like, something's missing about Kung Lao. And it's like Kung Lao has a sick moveset. No matter what Kung Lao does, his moveset is gonna make him fire. His teleport, you know what I'm saying? If he starts spinning or he got the hat spin or whatever he does, Kung Lao has a cool moveset, but something is missing about Kung Lao. And I was like, Kung Lao is arrogant. That's just what Kung Lao is. And I was like, him being super serious along with super serious Liu Kang, it was wooden to me. Not saying the guy that played Liu Kang wasn't bad, but I'm just saying, but it felt wooden, and then he was, and I was like, for somebody like Kung Lao, it's kind of like how Q said you forgot about Kung Lao. They obviously did too, because they killed him.
Yeah, that was disrespectful.
I forgot they killed him. I forgot they killed
him dying, and also Goro taking the L early on was definitely something that gave me pause, because I'm like, I understand there's more villains, but like even the way he took the L, like come on,
he took it to Cole Young.
The person that lost every single fight in this movie.
The wackest dragon uppercut.
Yo, that uppercut was so bad. That uppercut was so... quick thing about Cole. Did any of y'all feel like they were... his family was his siblings and not his, like, wife?
Yep.
Because I was like... I was lost when the little girl was like, hey, Mom. And then he started kissing her mom. I was like, wait, what? Like, this is not... Y'all got something going on? But, yeah. I thought they were siblings.
I was really hoping Cole Young was like Johnny Cage, like renamed or something. Like I was just like, oh, that's probably Johnny Cage or something.
I feel like more people were going to be mad about that.
It just, I mean, I think it was great for them to throw Johnny at the end, but like, who's going to be Johnny Cage now? Because I feel like this movie, the sequel to this movie is really going to set up where it goes, and I hope it gets a sequel.
Well, I don't
know what they're going to do for it.
I know Mr. A&E doesn't want The Miz because The Miz can't fight well, but honestly, no one in this movie could really fight well. So I mean,
there's a lot about The Miz I just don't want as Johnny Cage. He, like, just because you play a Hollywood as your character, don't mean you can play Johnny Cage. He thinks I don't want The Miz as
Johnny Cage.
But The Miz is not a good. He's a good Miz. Stay there in wrestling. As me being a huge wrestling fan, that's fine. But just because you play the Hollywood wrestling character does not mean you are Johnny Cage.
And The Miz is just a version of The Rock from the Attitude Era, for the most. Well, I mean, at least it used to be. I don't know if it still is.
Yeah, Johnny Cage. It's like, first of all, I'm a little upset because it's cool to get Johnny in the sequel, but Johnny's not going to be like the wet behind the ears guy with all these experienced people. And I'm like, that ain't how it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so that means if that's the case, and Johnny's the way he is, he's going to be the new Kano. He's going to be the loud talker. He's going to be the guy that breaks ties. He's going to be the one to touch. He's going to be borderline fucking annoying. That's what Johnny Cage. They're going to make him in this movie because he doesn't understand how any of this Mortal Kombat stuff works. Because all the other characters, from Liu Kang and Sonya and Jax, all understand how this stuff works in this movie.
How did y'all feel about Jax? Oh, my bad.
Oh, how I feel about Jax?
Yeah.
He was better than I expected, but that's not. I mean, but y'all know my thing was like I was like, dude, this is Steve Harvey with metal arms. But
Steve Harvey wasn't yelling to the sky like that. Next thing you know, he became a transformer. I was like, wait, what?
His arms look. They didn't look good all the time. Like the VFX in this movie, some of them were really good. Like I thought Reptile looked good. I thought that dragon looked good.
I thought all of Sub-Zero's ice, those special effects looked great. I thought everything else was like
Mad Suz. Everything Rayton did was Suz. I think his baby arms were just ridiculous. Like why they do that? Yeah, that was so distracting.
Yeah, when they gave Jax the prototype arms.
Yeah, like first of all, where did they come from?
They violated with that. I'm like,
why were they so small? Were they like women's arms? Like I don't understand why they didn't even come down to his hips. He looked like CeeLo. He just had these tiny little arms.
Because he had to unlock his fucking power.
They violated with that.
And why was his power better arms? Like if he had normal arms, would his power have just been beefier arms?
That's where I was like, is his power cyborg? Like, can he just put metal all over him now?
The one question I had about the whole like the lore that they changed up, I wasn't mad about it because I was just like, they were just trying something, sure, whatever. But like, if a person has a marking and they beat a person, like if you don't have a mark and you beat a person with a mark, then you get that mark. But if you have a mark and a person has a mark and you kill that person, what happens to the mark then? Does it just like, do you get two marks? Does it go to someone else? Because I think there will probably be a point where there will just be one side will have the people with all the marks and the other side wouldn't have people with marks on it no more.
Oh man, they cancel each other out, man.
I was also
Mortal Kombat Annihilation all over again.
I was also confused
didn't think that far.
Training portion of the movie
when Raiden put up that field.
When everyone it was like everyone had to train to get their like power. And then all of a sudden Sonya just comes out the woodworks with hers right off the bat.
Yeah, and she blew a hole in Homegirl but left the spine. Like, what kind of ability is that? Does it not go through bone? Like, I don't understand any of that.
Well, it's like a ring, though, isn't it?
Game shit. Because
that thing, it's like a ring. It's not just like a whole blast. There's
even still, like with a ring, the circle has to connect.
Yeah.
No, that didn't make me mad. The fact is that y'all gotta understand. Every character in here is so wooden. And what I mean by wood, I ain't talking about can't act. I'm talking about these characters in Mortal Kombat are so complex. They made them so black and white.
Yeah, I agree.
There's really no gray area. Like, first of all, Bihan has a very more interesting story. He's a badass in this movie, but I'm just like, yo, the whole thing is like the whole setup with him and Hanzo is not just that open and close. It's not.
Yeah. If he was on a mission.
Exactly. I'm saying to the point where it's just like, hey, Hanzo kills Sub-Zero in the first tournament, and he tried to tell him, like, yo, it wasn't me that killed your family. And it's just like, he kills them, and then his brother got to come up like, yo, you killed my brother. So, we going at it, and then that's how the whole dude stuff about. He just comes in here, it's just like, okay, he's the bad guy. I'm like, okay, Kano is the clearest bad person in Mortal Kombat. There is no need for no backstory. I'm like, Reptile is a servant, and I'm like, he's just a big lizard monster that was just in there for the sake of being in there.
Straight out of Turok.
It was sick of being in there. Melina has a complex story, and she's just in there just to be.
They should have used Jade.
No, they shouldn't. They should have used Katana.
You can't kill Katana.
You should have killed Nutty's Adenian people. First of all, they're Adenian. Like, what that means is they're not going down that easily. They made Melina do like a fucking joke, and I'm like, okay, look, these are not just bad people. Like, they're Shang Tsung's henchmen. Like, that's the generic bad guy 1-on-1. Like, that's the big boss. And these are all the bad guys. This is obviously the bad team. With the quotations up.
Hey,
I'm like, but they're huh?
You know what's crazy? I just thought about this. What universe is this movie set in? Because
it is definitely a divergent one.
Yeah, I'm asking because when they did all the little Easter eggs, they show Kotal Khan.
They show Kotal Khan. They show Nightwolf. They show all the, I'm like, what do they have to do with this story?
They showed what's the chick with the black hair at the White Street? Katana's mom.
Sindel.
Yeah. They showed her.
Yeah. I was just asking because it was like, are Kotal Khan like around this time? I don't know.
It is the same thing. Relenko. That I was like the big guy with the sunshine. I'm like,
Reiko.
Mortal Kombat 4. Why is he here? He's just here.
He was a sacrifice. Yep, he was a sacrifice.
He's
homegirl with the wings. She was
in one.
Awful.
Narnia was in one game.
She looked so bad. Good Lord, they just threw her on the green screen.
They had her in here just to kill it. I'm like, this is Mortal Kombat Annihilation all over again. They are just bringing in characters for fan service. Be like, oh, if you're a diehard fan, you know who that is. You know who that is. You know who that is. So I'm like, but you gotta make if you're really talking about the guy who plays Sub-Zero, talk about some. Hey, we're trying to do 4 sequels out of this thing. If you're truly thinking about trying to sign on for 4 sequels, then why are you throwing all this fan service in what is kind of like a prequel? That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, this felt like Gotham.
It's like the hunt for Kano is useless now because that's how Sonya gets caught up in this tournament. Well, guess what? She kind of killed him. And so they're going to find a way to bring him back so they can finally give him the eye patch. I'm like, well, Kano never had laser powers. It's not a power. It's part of the eye patch. It's part of the thing. I was like, the whole power thing, I was like, okay, it's probably a unique way to show the new generation how powers work, but it's in reality stupid.
Yeah, the power thing was one of the worst things.
Did you feel the same way like during the Power Rangers movie? How it was like they just got powers because they touched the power coin?
Now, with Power Rangers, they didn't even really expand on that. Because we only saw one scene where he really had I guess fire or something, and then that was it. And that was the only part in the school. After that, the powers just never came back with the movie. So I can't really say I feel the same way because they didn't really go in depth with that in the Power Rangers. Where in this is what the whole movie was about.
Yo, Power Rangers is a way better movie than this movie.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
I agree.
And I feel bad because
it wasn't a temperature check. I was just asking.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, yeah. I'm just saying because I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, in my mind, I was just watching them both side by side, and I was just like, they have a lot of similarities on how they changed up things. I just think Power Rangers landed theirs better, and Power Rangers also ended with the tease of the character you really wanted to see, but that Power Rangers sequel just never happened.
The character everybody wanted to see.
That everybody wanted to see.
Who don't want to see Tommy?
This guy right here.
Why?
Hey guys. Everyone that has Twitter, get on Twitter right now. #JGF for Johnny Cage for Mortal Kombat 2.
Don't do that.
Wow.
Don't do that.
So I did a little research on this because when I looked at this movie, I just thought that VFX wise, acting wise, director wise, it all looked real sus. So when I looked at the budget, this was a $50 million movie. I think they did. This is what also changed my opinion about this movie because I feel like they did a lot for $50 million, but I think they did too much. like to put it in scope, like Deadpool was like roughly around the same budget. I think this was a little bit under Deadpool 1's first budget. And I just kind of feel like, I don't know, Warner Brothers does weird things like this where they'll just throw money at something and like just to see if it works or not. And at the end of the day, like I kind of felt like this didn't feel, it felt like a pilot. Like it didn't feel like the final polished version. I'm not sure if that's because it came on HBO Max or how much the pandemic really affected any of this, but it just felt like not right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of the director of this movie, and he looks like he does not know anything about Mortal Kombat.
He's definitely not like a seasoned director. Like I can tell from some of the acting, he was just like, "You did a great job. That was great. Let's go."
I mean, it's there. I mean, I just want people to, respect the lore, which I felt as though they had they did a bad job at doing it. Because now I'm gonna ask y'all, it's now the second movie. Who is Shang Tsung's forces? Because then what you're going to start doing is you're going to start pulling out people that don't need to be there.
Oh, for sure.
Because Goro's dead.
I have another question. Did Kano put Chinook's amulet back?
He did not.
Oh my! You know what? That pissed me off.
What does that mean?
Why are we even touching Shinnok's amulet? That's a Quan Chi story.
Leave it alone.
I'm sorry. What was that?
$5 Striker's going to be in the sequel.
Oh, we're gonna have Striker in the sequel, but we don't got Cabal now. Great.
I love Cabal.
Because that makes sense.
I like Cabal too.
I really like Cabal. Yeah.
I hated Cabal.
Really?
Yes.
I think whoever was voice acting him was they could have
got the voice actor wasn't good, but
they could have got a better voice actor.
They took Cabal literally right out of Mortal Kombat 11 and stuck him in this movie. Everything was the same.
In all honesty, that's kind of what they need to do with this whole movie. They just need to take the story from the game and then put it in the movie.
They don't need a whole different movie.
That's a bigger budget too. That's
MCU budget right there.
Yeah, they don't need to do that.
Not Atomic Robot.
I'm glad you like the story from the game because I like the story from the game too. But like they said, you're talking about MCU level. You have to start at the clearest beginning that there is. Just these Earthrealmers trying to defend from Outworld, winning 10 tournaments in a row and winning. That's all you need to do.
The craziest thing is like they didn't have a tournament, but they treated it like a tournament.
They sure did.
Yeah.
Because Homeboy was like, "Oh, we lost this one, but we're gonna come back," and it's just like, can you just come back like the next day? Like, what's the simulations to this like 10 rule? Because it's like, I just feel like a lot of people was in the room just throwing around ideas, and they was like, it's Mortal Kombat, no one cares. As long as you make it R and show blood, no one's going to care. I really think that's the way they felt about it.
That's what the mentality seemed like it was. As long as we got the fatalities, as long as we, if we got the fighting, that's what the fans want because we never got that in the old movies. And I'm like, that's not always what sells the movie to everybody. Because see, now when you start making sequels, that don't last. Because now they already seen the fatalities, now they already seen the blood. You can give them more of it in the second one, but now people are going to want to see what the story is. And so now what's going to be like, Shang Tsung is going to go ask Shao Kahn, hey, I'm bringing armies. I need your army to come down here and help me. I'm like, oh my God, my head will really explode like Dave Chappelle because that will be so far away from any respect to the lore whatsoever. I don't understand. I just never understood why you couldn't have a simple movie of just having you just get the main characters from the first one, the Earthrealm's defenders, fight off the little bit of army that Shang Tsung had. Liu Kang beats Shang Tsung, and then he begs Shao Kahn for a second chance. Shao Kahn comes back for the second one. and then we have the tournament on Outworld opposed to on Earthrealm. You can do that. It's fine. I don't need Cole. Now I got Jax with metal arms, so I'm like, well, there goes the end of him and Sonya's character building, because they don't look like army buddies or nothing to me in this movie.
I think they were like special forces or something.
I could not.
No, they are special forces. But what I'm saying,
I didn't mean special forces. I meant like agents or something. Like they look, but they didn't have military backing, but they had like super cops or something.
Like bounty hunters or something like that, mercenaries.
Nah, I was thinking like, I don't know, like an off branch of like the military, not the like the CIA or the FBI. Like, they felt like more like those type of spooks versus like military people. I mean, Jax was very military. You know, he was just like, six tours, but they weren't like the Rangers. They were more like, they felt more like FBI people to me.
No, I'm saying, but that's what Special Forces is. I'm not talking
Special
about.
Forces is like Delta Force. Weren't they like Delta Force?
They were more. They were more deeper in that, because they were the ones that went to go investigate all these different things that's going on in all the different realms. That's what their special job was. They handle the outside Earth problems also. What I'm saying is, there's no chemistry there. There's no closeness in Jax and Sonya, other than it just being Jax and Sonya. And I'm like, they're definitely not going to develop anything now, especially going up into the second movie. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's so black and white in this movie, and so open and closed, to the point that you can't do no character building. You can't build off of this. They did not make a good foundation for sequels to build off of. And when you can't build off nothing, then you're doing money at something that won't be successful when you let the suits go at it. And you're going to have a lot of Mortal Kombat fans out there that is praising the movie, which is fine. I'm not saying they shouldn't go praise the movie, but it's one of those things where it's like, I want to love this movie more than it needs to be loved, because we finally got one. That's what it is.
You're a fan. It's like you should feel like that.
Yeah, so when you're a fan of something, you just say, okay, well, this is cool. I'm like, there's no way I'm looking at that Shang Tsung, but this is acceptable. There's no way I'm looking at this Melina and saying that's acceptable, or Reptile, or Kano, or their whole squad, like, or Relinko, or Naria, or whatever the case may be. I'm not looking at any of those people and saying that's okay. Because now Shang Tsung got to go here, and now where's he going to pull out? Goro is gone. And it's like, okay, well, now what are you going to do? Pull out Kintaro or Motaro or Shiva, or people that don't even need to be there for the second movie? But they'll give them to us for fan service.
I think they're literally going to pick names out of a hat.
That's what they're going to do.
Next set of villains. I'm pretty sure like Rain might pop up. We might get one of those cyber ninjas. Like, why not? You know what I mean? Like, just go ahead and do it. Like, I think at this point they're kind of just like, let's just see what we can get away with.
Yeah. Look, all in all, we all have fandoms of something, and they made a movie of it, and we were highly disappointed. Unfortunately, Mr. A&E always gets that like hard treatment because he's fans of properties that you just can't make right.
They can't.
X-Men.
They just can't do it.
Fantastic Four, Mortal Kombat. Thank God they got Shazam right. But
yeah, I'm happy for Shazam.
Yeah. Look, let's give our review. Our rating for it. I know Mr. A&E, you said hashtag give it a chance. I'm not sure if that opinion changed during this conversation. Q-Flow, you said hashtag give it a chance as well. The director, what did you give it? Do you know our grading scale?
Yeah. Okay. I would definitely give it a chance. At the end of the day, as much shit as I talk about it, I mean, if you catch it on HBO Max, it's fine. You know, it feels like an HBO Max movie. So if I would have paid $20 a seat to see this in the theater with like popcorn and stuff and had the anticipation, I would be so hot right now. Like if I thought this was going to be a really good movie, I'd be upset.
So what if you catch it on Netflix? Does it change?
Nah, same thing. To me, HBO Max and Netflix, they're same size of two different sides of the same coin.
What Netflix you got?
I got regular ass Netflix.
He got the VPN where he could watch stuff from all over. I gave it a catch it at a barbershop. I did not have fun with this movie. I'm glad my migraine is clear from this movie, but
just no more Cole Young. Like find a way to fatality.
Watch him end up in the next game or as DLC.
Oh, he's definitely going to be in there.
With the bad suit, with
with brass body.
Honestly, Mortal Kombat 11. When they do their last DLC pack, Ed Boon not doing that to his game. Ed Boon is not doing that to his game. Out of all the work this man has put into this franchise, he ain't doing that. He know better.
I don't know, man. WB sure? Interactive.
Like, yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of this is WB's fault. Like WB, they make poor choices as a movie studio. Period. Like they just can't. They just make poor choices. They have a lot of great opportunities, just poor choices.
I hope Space.
And Cole Young felt like a character made by committee. That was a bunch of dudes in the room being like, "How can we get this whole Gen Z dollar? Like, who can we connect onto? Let's make Cole Young. He sounds edgy. He's cool.
But
he's an MMA fighter."
How the hell y'all do the anime movie right now? That's how it should have been.
Different departments, man.
Yeah, animated. You got a lot more because we can pick out a live action movie and an anime movie of the same property, and a lot of times the animated movie is a lot better.
They could have used the same exact story and called it a day.
Yeah, like Suicide Squad. Assault on Arkham was a better Suicide Squad movie than Suicide Squad.
That's all they had to do.
WB could do a great job with animated movies, but it's just
if WB was smart, they would just do smart things. They just don't. Like, why don't we got any Harry Potter on HBO Max?
Because it's on Peacock. Because it's on Peacock.
But like the movies are, but you can definitely spin off a TV show right quick and like kick that service up. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
I think you're a personal thing.
Mark, director, I hear you, but we low key outnumbered. I know it's 2-on-2, but we're outnumbered. Trust
I'm just saying,
I wasn't going to say anything. That's y'all.
They have so many. Harry Potter. They have so many. I mean, I like Harry Potter. I'm not a super fan, but there's a lot of fans of Harry Potter. And if you was to like
fans of everything that you could make money off of,
right? But like HBO Max has not like put together that series that makes them just think the Mandalorian carried Disney Plus till this Marvel stuff came up. And I think that's amazing.
Is a fact.
And HBO Max has nothing really like that besides this what happened because of the pandemic with them dropping their movies on there. They have nothing that you're like, you have to go to HBO Max to watch this.
Their biggest thing besides the DC stuff is all the nostalgia stuff. You can watch all the cartoons like back in the day.
But that's not I'm not trying to pay $15 for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree.
I hear you. I personally would because I like my older cartoons. But I hear you though. That's it.
All right, we're gonna hop into our next topic. I'm not sure if the director are you about to part ways with us?
I am going to part ways only because I feel like when my presence here, things just go way longer than they should.
You know, I'm not going to lie. When A&E texted me, he was like, "Hey, Mark wants to join." I was like, "Let me push this up to 9:30."
Yes, no, so I'm just going to... I just wanted to talk my piece about Mortal Kombat, and I'm just going to go about my way. Y'all have a good one.
That's unfair. I mean, we have some healthy arguments, but there's no DC on this list.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Until like if he comes out of nowhere, man.
The only thing me and him argue about, the only thing we argue about is DC and Warner Brothers. He got his Warner Brothers shit out already.
And Blade.
I mean, Warner Brothers ain't doing you no favors as of lately.
What, you know, as of lately, Warner Brothers ain't doing me no favors for 2005.
I mean, that's definitely that's a fact. So yeah, I mean, I fuck with the DC stuff. Again, Warner Brothers just make really bad decisions. You know,
Yeah.
I like the Snyder cut, so there we are. We was all on board.
Yeah.
No patronizing.
But thank you for joining us. Before you leave, is there any place the audience could find you?
HBO Max.
Yeah, HBO Max got Infinity Train. I'm about to go finish watching that. But yeah, you can catch me on Instagram, Mark Randall III. I got a new podcast dropping, Doing Business with Mark, Mark Randall. So check that out. Yeah, out here getting money and paying taxes the freelance way, and that shit is legit. So yeah, that's where I'll be.